warm welcome to this week's presentation of News in Depth. On today's program, we'll be looking at the aviation industry here in Zambia. We'll be looking at some of the infrastructure projects currently taking place, and of keen interest is the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. We'll also be talking to one of the industry players, Proflight, as we hear their perspective on the performance of the aviation industry, and not forgetting government's point in terms of growing this particular sector. Welcoming you to this week's program, my name is Pennipher Nyirenda. Zambia is a country of many opportunities. Various sectors contribute to the economic and social growth being recorded in the country. However, certain sectors remain underutilized, leaving room for further advancement. One such industry is aviation. Historically, the Zambian skies have been opened to many airlines from around the world. Passengers traversing the globe find their way to Zambia through this mode of transportation. The Zambian aviation story begins from the national carrier, Zambia Airways, which commenced operations in 1964. The airline was a trendsetter on the continent with a substantial fleet, among them the DC-8, DC-10-30, Boeing 707, Boeing 737, and the ATR-42, among others. The airline would fly to destinations in Europe, the United States of America, and Asia. In 1994, Zambia Airways was disposed of, after which no other national carrier has been set up. Along the way, the industry has seen other airlines come and go. In 1996, Aero Zambia replaced Zambia Airways and provided job opportunities for around 300 people. The airline flew to destinations around Zambia and Africa. However, Aero Zambia vanished from the skies in January of the year 2000 due to safety issues, although political influence in its disappearance was not ruled out. This was perhaps the same reason attributed to the closure of another carrier known as Zambezi Airlines. Zambezi Airlines began operating in the year 2008 and shut its doors to the public in 2012. 22 years after the liquidation of Zambia Airways, the aviation industry is still classified as a growing sector, and its significance is highly recognized. In the meantime, plans to set up a national airline have been shelved.
I think for now, the introduction of the national airline is still on hold until better days. We hope they will be soon, and we can go in there.
The Zambia Airports Corporation Limited is mandated to manage airport and air navigation infrastructure in the country. Robinson Misitala, who is the managing director of the corporation, affirms the significance of the aviation industry.
We believe that air transport, especially in a country like ours, which is landlocked, air transport is the safest and quickest mode of transport. And we believe that the airport is an engine in economic development. So, to that effect, air transport plays a very vital role in any development of any nation in the world. So we believe as an airport operator, we've got the task of ensuring that we support the air transport sector in Zambia.
Government knows too well how important this sector is, and Minister of Works and Supply Yamfwa Mukanga says the state wants to improve the aviation industry.
I think aviation industry is very important to the economy, because I think if you have a very efficient aviation industry, then you'll be able to execute business better. First, it will reduce the transit times, it will reduce the cost of doing business, and it will also bring in efficiency in the way we operate. And the aviation industry cannot be replaced by anything. In Zambia, what we're trying to achieve is we're trying to make Zambia as a hub for operations in terms of transport. And I'm sure the Minister of Transport can even agree to that one, attest to that one. What we're trying to do is, as we improve other sectors like the road network, we connect Zambia to various places around the Central Africa. We want to, as we connect Zambia through roads, we want to connect it through the aviation. That is, we're supposed to be connected in terms of air transport. And then we link it up. We use whatever rivers we have. So in the river transport, we also do the same.
What has hindered the growth of this potentially viable sector?
If I can just outline what have been the major challenges of the aviation sector in Africa, we look at the issue of operating costs. We should understand that aviation industry is, a capital-intensive industry which needs a lot of capital and investments. So in this case, we understand that, for most of the African countries, they've been finding it hard because of the ever-increasing price of jet A1 fuel, which is the fuel that is used to propel airplanes. So because of the high operating costs, some countries cannot actually manage to engage or develop their aviation sector. We can also look at the issue of lack of strategic partnerships and alliances. We understand that it is somehow hard to thrive in this industry. And what other nations have done is to come with alliances, joint measures, and strategic partnerships with big airlines, be it in Europe or America, that can come and run part of the airline. So that way it helps them develop.
Privately owned airline Proflight came on the scene 25 years ago. In their taste of the Zambian airspace, Proflight feels the sector is growing but being hampered by the high taxes slapped on players.
The industry is performing pretty well, but not many players, by local players who haven't got many players. But I would say it's okay, because people are able to get around within the country, and also outside the country. There are a lot of people, airlines coming in, and they can take people to all our destinations. So I would say the industry is okay, it's doing very well. In the aviation industry, we pay taxes, and some of these taxes, they affect our operations. So if a situation there comes when the taxes that we pay go down, and obviously then we also got, because we're not paying so much, so we have to charge also much lower. So there's things to say should be looked into.
Inadequate infrastructure is another challenge observed by Proflight.
In the absence of improved infrastructure, when an aircraft comes from Europe or from wherever, if the infrastructure is archaic, it takes a long time for somebody to clear and be able to be checked in on a Proflight and be taken to the destination, like the provincial airstrips. So with improvement of structure, makes things move quickly, and it puts the country at par with other countries, in the region,
Initiatives to upgrade airport infrastructure has in the last few years gained momentum with major works at the 4 international airports. The works are part of government's quest to link the Zambian airspace to others in the region and the world at large. At a press conference held at State House recently, President Edgar Lungu noted the significance of the works being conducted at the major airports, while highlighting the social benefits resulting in about 4,000 job opportunities.
With regard to the construction, upgrading and rehabilitation of airport infrastructure, government has finalized the construction of the Mukanga International Airport in Livingstone, and the upgrading of the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka is underway, while the construction of the new Ndolo Airport will commence soon. The modernization and construction of airport infrastructure at Kenneth Kaunda and Misitala Airport will also include the construction of shopping malls, hotels, and other facilities. Combined, therefore, these projects will contribute to the creation of employment for more than 4,000 people on the Copper Belt and Lusaka province.
The Zambia Airports Corporation Limited gives an outline of the works being conducted at the 4 major airports.
Halimwangankumbula International Airport in Livingstone, which we have done at $60 million, it's almost complete. It is scheduled for commissioning this year. The new airport on the Copper Belt, the Copper Belt International Airport, we've just working very hard to ensure that the area that is earmarked for the airport is cleared, and we are expected to have the groundbreaking ceremony. We've set June, July that we'll have the groundbreaking ceremony. Our smallest airport so far is in Yamfwa. In Yamfwa also there is a contract that has been awarded, and 85% of the funding has since been sourced. We are still remaining with the 15%. We believe that this particular project will commence in 2017.
While the major works are being implemented at the 4 international airports, the upgrade master plan includes other facilities around the provincial capitals.
I can tell you that our target was to finish the Kasama this year. But our target is by the end of year, we would have done more, about 90%. Okay. So we want to do, we want to ensure, in fact, what we have come up with is to look at the other option of funding, that is the PPP, that is the public-private partnership, where people come in with money, then we agree on the terms of how they coop their money back.
However, there's one big problem the state has encountered in its plans to upgrade airport infrastructure, and that is encroachment.
We have a few challenges in trying to improve this, because what has happened is that most of the people have encroached in places which we are marked for airports and which used to be airports. Some are building houses, some are just building houses, in fact, in front of the runway. If you look at the Kasama would have been finished, that airport, by now. But we had the challenge where, you know, most of the people have built houses and now they want compensation. And when we looked at the total compensation required, it was about 10 million kwacha. It's a lot of money. So these are some of the challenges we have. You find, you go to Mongo, you find that people have encroached. So what do? We have to start negotiating with these people. And once we finish negotiations, that's when we start working.
Opened in 1967, Kenneth Kaunda International Airport is Zambia's largest airport, with installed capacity of handling 2 million passengers per year. The airport facility, which was known as the Lusaka International Airport, is the oldest in the country. It is located 27 kilometers from the central business district. Its name was changed in 2010 in honor of Zambia's first president, Kenneth Kaunda. Works have equally intensified within the KKI grounds, where the new airport facility is being put up.
The whole program is supposed to take 54 months, and therefore there are 7 facilities in this particular upgrade. So apart from the terminal building, we are going to have 2 hotels. One hotel with a capacity of 70 rooms, which will be within the airport, and a 30-room transit hotel within the terminal building. The other facility also that we are going to do is the in-flight catering. At the moment, most of the airlines come with their own food. That is weight to the airline and loss of revenue. So we believe that by having a facility that will be preparing food for airlines to pick, that also will reduce the weight on the airlines, and which also translate into profits. We are also going to have a cargo terminal. We are also going to have a VVIP or presidential terminal. On top of that, we are also going to have office facilities and a shopping mall. Why are we investing in a shopping mall? The answer is simple. Because we believe that we want now to create an airport as a small city.
This upgrade is quite costly.
The total cost of the project is $360 million. It's a loan, long term, with interest rates of 2%.
We visited the site where the new airport is being constructed. China Jiangxi contract manager Li Shijiang gave us an update on the progress of the construction works his company is implementing.
Here, where we are staying, we can see that there are some movements. In fact, this is the main building for this project. This is the terminal building area. And this area, in fact, we are moving very, very fast. As we can see, the first level is already come up, the columns, and there the floor is coming up. And in fact, our plan, our own target, we want to finish the concrete structure in this August, and by this October we start to fixing the steel structure.
Despite using both local and imported materials, the contractor is certain that his company will deliver a quality structure. Additional job opportunities exist at this site.
Right now, the rain season already finished, already passed, and the dry season already here. You can see it's very dry now, and we already started all the area now, and we need more workers now. So the local people, who live nearby, this area, they are very well welcome to here to find a job.
On the other hand, the new fire and rescue appliance bay is among the facilities to be completed first, and it will be ready in the second quarter of 2016. The cargo handling facilities at the KKI are part of the upgrade plans, and this too is expected to boost the Zambian economy.
Unfortunately, cargo we have not done very well. Up to 2006, there was a steady growth. The reason is simple, because we do not have daily cargo flights. Most of the farmers are actually tracking their produce into our neighboring countries.
Government also feels the cargo service will contribute to the growth of the aviation sector.
The cargo component is very important because cargo, most of the airlines fly into Zambia, but they just transport cargo. Transportation of all the developmental materials required, transporting of all sensitive equipment, transport sensitive materials, and that comes through cargo. Cargo operations are so important that they can change even the way we do business in the country.
The purchase and installation of a radar system is another milestone the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport has recorded. President Lungu is pleased that the radar will make the Zambian airspace safer.
In order to enhance safety and security of the Zambian airspace, my government has installed the Zambia Air Traffic Management Surveillance Radar System. And you may not appreciate the importance of this, but it's very, very important. Without this, certain flights cannot come into Zambia.
The radar brings with it a lot of advantages.
With this equipment operation, it becomes safer. And because it becomes safer, then you see that even an individual operator who has maybe an airline, it will be easy for them to come and fly because they know that their equipment is safe and the people will be safe.
The radar, which has been procured at $20 million, it has been installed at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport and Halimwangankumla International Airport in Livingstone. The installation has been completed. The testing of the equipment has also been completed. It is earmarked for commissioning in June or July.
In view of recent terror attacks at airports around the world, enhanced security at the new structures is vital. In addition, airlines too have to comply with internationally prescribed safety standards.
The aviation industry, the nature of the industry itself, puts safety as #1 consideration. And to ensure this safety, that it is put in practice, we open ourselves to audit by outside bodies from Europe, America, Canada, South Africa. They come and check our operations, all aspects of our operations, and where we are lacking, they encourage us and they make proposals. There are also international organizations by the Civil Aviation Authority organization, ICAO. They've got laid down procedures.
The works at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport and other facilities around the country are expected to raise the profile of the aviation industry in Zambia. The current structure at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport will begin servicing domestic routes soon as the new structure is complete. This is expected to boost the domestic air services.
What we have actually, when you look at our traffic pattern, is that 80% of our traffic is regional or international. We've only got 20% domestic, but in most of the countries it's the other way around, that you have domestic higher than international. So our strategy is that we have been working with the Zambia Tourism Agency so that we are able to work together and promote the domestic tourism.
On the other hand, government would like more investors in the aviation sector, especially targeted at the domestic market. Increased competition is also expected to lead to the reduction of airfares on the local routes, which have made this form of transport unpopular. Proflight, which is the only airline servicing local routes, says it is playing its part in boosting domestic tourism.
To fares, we structure our fares so that we have attractive fares on some routes, particularly Solwezi and Livingstone. It's called the Citizens Special, which is specifically designed for Zambian citizens, and they pay a much lower fare than anybody else on other routes.
The Policy Monitoring and Research Center feels that Zambia can learn lessons from the Ethiopian strategies that have made the aviation sector flourish.
Ethiopian Airlines is really a model for Africa. We have to understand that Ethiopian Airlines has been there for the past 70 years. But in the year 2010, they came up with a strategy called the Vision 2025. So that Vision 2025 was clear, and they said in the next 10-15 years, we want to be the leading airline in Africa in terms of fleet as well as profit and cargo as well. So it looked at both sides, from the passenger side and the issue of cargo. And what they did is that it's very interesting to know that they've been in existence for 70 years, but the profit they've made in the last 10 years is more than they've ever made in the past 60 years. And why is that so? There are a lot of factors. We have to understand that for Ethiopian Airlines, it is state-owned, but not state-run. What I mean is that it's owned by the government, but management of the airline itself is done by professionals.
The infrastructure upgrades at the various airports in the country is part of the vision of making Zambia a hub, given its favorable geographical position. The industry provides opportunity for the enhancement of trade, as well as reduced travel time for passengers, with a desire to move from one end to another. Ultimately, the aviation industry is expected to make a more meaningful contribution to the gross domestic product of the country, and in turn, substantial growth of the Zambian economy. Here is where we end this week's News In-Depth program, as we've been looking at the performance of the aviation industry here in Zambia. We've been showcasing the infrastructure developments taking place at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, as well as other airport facilities around the country. Well, we'd like to encourage you to join us for another interesting news documentary right here on News In-Depth. I've been your presenter, Pennipher Nyirenda. Goodbye and God bless you.